Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Lake CX242 carbon fiber cycling shoes. Lake has taken all their expertise in shoe design and material science to develop the new CX242 shoes. With a split upper construction and unique pressure relief zones, CX242 are the perfect shoes with riders with special fit issues or non-standard shape. Packaging wise, you can see very simple, just a cardboard box. You have the white and black color scheme with Lake logo printed on top. You can see our specific version is the Euro 44 wide in the reflective finish. I'll go ahead and take this out of the box and we'll go over the specs. Retail price on this is $389.99. Again, it has a split upper construction, which means the upper material is actually split up into 6 different zones. So you can see these are all separate from each other and give you a lot of flexibility as far as the fit. You have Carbitex CX6 support panels. That's this carbon fiber material. So it's very light, highly flexible, but it doesn't stretch in the direction of the actual closure. So very stiff. So you get exactly the material qualities you want while still being really lightweight, and you don't have any rigid structures or uncomfortable pressure points. You have new foam lining, and you can see that on the inside, which gives you nice padding between the outer and inner, and also great ventilation as the air can get right through. You also have a heat moldable carbon heel, so you can put the whole thing in the oven, and then you can mold the heel portion and give you a nice comfortable fit. It also has the CX/TX competition last, so it's really designed for high cadence and high pressure riding. So it's great if you're doing sprinting or longer events at higher speeds. As far as what comes with the shoes, you can see you have the shoe, the right and left, a little bit of padding on the inside, a basic tag here that shows you the Carbitex material, a Lake badge, and that's about it. So you don't actually get a Lake carrying bag, you just get the shoes by themselves. And then the tag you can simply just pull off by removing the Velcro and then lock it in place. Now let's take a look at the weight of the shoes. Again, these are the Euro 44 wide. Put the left shoe on there, it's 224 grams, while the right shoe comes in at a little bit more, 229. So pretty light overall, especially given that they're the wide variation. The Lake CX242 is an evolution of the CX241 shoes, with the big changes being the updated closure system, the inclusion of Carbitex support panels, and the wider toe box shape that should fit a wider range of people. So not only does it look better than the previous version, especially with the updated BOA Li2 dials, but it should be a better fit. Lake offers these shoes in multiple monotone color options. You have white and black and silver, and then you have matte gray black microfiber, and the reflective silver gray microfiber that we have here. So note the first 2 color options are actually full grain leather, while the reflective version and then the matte finish are both microfiber. So you can really choose the one you prefer. This reflective finish is very similar to the Bont reflex shoes, and you have this nice high reflective finish. So if you pop a light on here at nighttime, this will all pop. So it's fully reflective everywhere that you see the gray. So it's a really nice feature, it keeps you visible at night, and because your feet are rotating while you're pedaling, it gives you just that much more visibility as you're really moving around instead of just a static taillight. Although we do wish Lake offered some of their iridescent colors or brighter finishes like they do in their other models, this monotone finish actually looks great and will pair with just about any bike or cycling kit theme, so you can really mix and match this very easily. While most high-end shoes have gone to one-piece designs with these origami finishes that wrap around, what makes these shoes unique is the split upper construction. So you can see each one of these is actually a separate piece. So if we pop these out, you can see these are separate. And this gives you more control over the fit. So if you have a bunion, narrow feet, or wide feet, this can really accommodate you in separate zones. So you get a very unique fit that you don't see elsewhere. You can also see the new foam inserts here. So you have a nice foam on the inside that provides some padding. Great ventilation. These are also pressure relief channels. So each one of these will prevent pressure. So if you have a bunion in the front of your feet, this will actually prevent this from pushing down on it. So a really nice supportive shoe that can really match just about any fit issue. You can also see the inclusion of the Carbitex material. So this is a textile carbon fiber, so you can see very flexible in one direction, but it's non-stretch. So if I pull this actually won't stretch, and that's exactly what you want. So they've really fine-tuned the flexibility and direction they want, and then ensure this won't stretch out over time. So it's a really cool material we've seen with some other shoes, as well as other Lake models. So you can see the Carbitex material on the top one, and then on the other side, strategically placed. The closure system here is also quite unique. So you have two Li2 dials. These have the micro tiny as well as micro loosening feature, so you rotate in the other direction. You can also see this has a translucent dial, so you can actually see the little ratchets moving. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that with some other shoes. You do a release, you pull up, you do a full release, and you can see there's quite a bit of slack here. So if I pull up, you can actually open up these shoes really wide, and that makes it easy to put them on and take them off, while other shoes are quite narrow. So nice feature, and you can see there's a separate inner panel for the tongue portion, and then the main upper that wraps around. You have a 4-row lace system, so the top lace controls the top 2 rows, and then the bottom one extends down to the bottom, and you can see how far it goes. Usually this ends about here, but this goes all the way up to the front, which is quite unique. You can also see the toe box here is a lot more square. In the previous version, this was more tapered, so if you had a wider foot, it wouldn't fit that well, as you'd kind of get stuck in between here. But with this one, especially being the wide version, you can see it's a very wide shoe, all the way up to the front. The other interesting feature about this is that you can adjust the lacing pattern. So if you pull up on the Velcro, you can actually adjust just where exactly these line up. So if you have a pressure point in the center portion, you can just move this down and then lock it in place. So a cool design, and really designed to fit just about any foot problem or any special foot shape. You also have the carbon fiber on the rear, so this is heat moldable, just like you had with the previous version. You can put the whole shoe in the oven, and then the sole portion, the heel cup, can actually be heat molded to your exact foot shape, which is always a nice feature and really allows you to customize the fit. Underneath, you can see full carbon fiber sole, really nice glossy finish too. Again, we have the wide version, so it's a little bit more exaggerated, but even in the standard width, you can see a very wide profile that extends all the way through and doesn't narrow drastically like you see with other shoes. You have front and rear vents, a replaceable heel pad, toe bumper on the front, and that'll protect this nice glossy carbon fiber finish. This is compatible with 3 Bolt shoes, so Look Keo, SPD SL will all work here. You don't have the Look Keo memory eyelet in the center. Instead, you have this little red indicator, and then a lot of measurements here with this textured finish to really hold the cleat in place. So it should be easy to position this thanks to all the markers. Now let's take a look at these shoes on the road. As you can see, that split upper and reflective finish give it a unique appearance. You have a nice combination of that gray or off-white reflective material, and then the carbon fiber on the rear heel and the Carbitex material on the inners. So it's a really nice design. We still wish they had more colors like the iridescent or metallic finishes Lake offers, but as is, the monotone really pairs with anything. You have the nice carbon fiber base, and you can see that heel bumper and the toe bumper do their job, so it protects it. So if you do a lot of walking, they should still look nice and new. You can see this wide version is very wide, nice big toe box, and even the standard width, you have a much more anatomic shaping here. It's a very comfortable shoe too. You have the full foam interior, so there's really no pressure points here, and you can adjust the wire routing and the tension on the dials individually with that Li2, so you have micro tightening and loosening. We found the shoes to be really well ventilated and nice and stiff, so if you're doing a lot of sprinting or longer rides, it's nice to have that additional stiffness, but it's not uncomfortable, so you can still do long rides and not have to take a break and take the shoes off. It's a great combination shoe. It's really ideal for people with any type of foot issues, but also works if you have normal feet and just want the flexibility to really adjust the fit. Now let's compare the Lake CX242 and other shoes on the market. On the lower end, we have the Physique Omna here. You can see the big difference between lower end shoes and high end shoes are the closure systems. You only have one BOA dial here. And even though this is Li2, you don't get the full adjustment that you would get with dual dials, because you have this one piece design and then 3 rows versus dual dials and separate zones. The other big difference is the sole. You don't get carbon fiber at lower price points. Instead, you get the nylon reinforced one, which works well, but doesn't give you that stiffness that you want for high effort sprints. You can also get dual dial shoes that are a little bit more affordable. This is the Decathlon Van Rysel shoes. Only $200, but you can see 8 top dials instead of BOA. So you only have micro tightening and then a full release when you rotate the other direction. Also, you can see the lace pattern here. It doesn't extend quite as far downward, and you have that one-piece upper versus the multi-piece upper on the Lake. You can see the soles both have carbon fiber finishes, but the Lake one just really looks cool with the glossy design. These shoes are probably closest to the Bont Vapor and the Reflex finish. Both of them have a reflective design, so they really pop, especially when the light hits them. You can see the Bont has more of a wider design. They're both the same size. They're both a Euro 44 wide, but you can see this has more of that bathtub look, so it extends all the way up and around, while the Lake shoes simply have an upper attached to the lower. So it really hug you a little bit more. This is also heat moldable, but you can see not quite as attractive as they're just a little bit bulkier all the way through. And you don't have the adjustable upper system. The Shimano S-PHYRE RC9 are probably one of the coolest looking shoes. The S-PHYRE finish, you get that color shifting finish, and you can see more of a unified design. So the upper is actually built into the lower instead of just the two-piece design, but again, one-piece setup, and you don't have nearly as much adjustment. DMT also has knit shoes. We have the KR0 here, which is their top line, so very flexible. So this also works if you have bunions or other sensitive spots on your feet, but again, not as adjustable. You just have the 2 dials, and you don't have the split upper. So with the CX242, it's a really good option if you want full flexibility with the wiring and then the positions on the upper with this whole split design. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Lake CX242. What you like about it is you have a nice reflective finish, so it really shines, and if you do a lot of nighttime riding, it's a great way to be more visible. You also have that unique split upper construction, which really eliminates any pressure points and allows you to fine-tune the fit. You also have a nice stiff and comfortable carbon fiber sole that gives you high performance, so if you're doing sprinting or climbing, you really have a direct connection to the bike. The main con with these shoes is the fact that it lacks really any color options. It's just the monotone options, white or black, or a matte gray. Taking everything into account, we give the Lake shoes a 9.0 out of 10. These are cycling shoes that are designed for nearly any foot shape. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclists. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.